How have you seen him change over the 10 years?
I have felt a different kind of peace in him in this last movie. Yeah, 6 months together, and I already knew him very well, and every experience has been great. We've never had fights or problems, but in this movie, I think it had to do with the place where we were shooting, which is where he grew up. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but there was a piece that it was contagious, you know? Like, he was like that every day for 6 months, and everyone on the set could feel it. We would talk about it without knowing exactly what it was. But it was a very beautiful thing, and I like seeing him happy.
Tell me about La Mancha.
Well, you know, La Mancha is, well, everybody knows the men of La Mancha, Cervantes and El Quijote. And it's a region which is in the road from Madrid, the center, to Andalusia. Right. And this is very austere place. I mean, even it's just the opposite of Andalusia. Then, I mean, my memories when I was a child, it was a very conservative place, a very reactionary place that it was the place that I never wanted to live there. I mean, it's just the last place that I wanted to develop my life. But I think for that reason I never thought about my childhood, because I didn't like that part of my life.
Because?
Because,
it was painful?
It was, I mean, it was very difficult to feel. I mean, I mean, los manchegos, I mean, the people from La Mancha, they believe, they trust only in the earth, but they are not very generous with themselves. And sensuality was very important for me since I was a child. And I thought, this is the last place for me to live. And so, I mean, we moved up to another place when I was 8, and then I went to Madrid when I was 16. But now, I mean, when the time is passing and now I'm more than 50s, then I can look back, and I can look back to that place, just seeing the really positive things that I was surrounded when I was a child. Because at the beginning I felt like an hostile place to me. And now I could make this movie just remembering the wonderful things that I was surrounded. I mean, all these women.
Would you go back more now?
Not really. I mean, my mother and my father, they died, so they don't. I mean, nobody of my really direct family lives there. So I just go sometimes, once a year.
Other than you said you thought about Sophia Loren, she's always been talked about as Audrey Hepburn. You see that too?
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, I mean, if you take a picture of Penelope and you just, I mean, the Audrey Hepburn part is this. I mean, this.
The Audrey Hepburn part.
Yeah, of her is this.
Yeah, it is.
If you just hide the rest of the face and with the appropriate makeup, is absolutely Hepburn. Absolutely. I mean, yes, which is not this makeup. This makeup is different.
But you recoil from that. You don't like that, or not?
No,
you do. You're flattered.
Yeah, because it's embarrassing. Because like you're speaking of two women that are my biggest idols. You know, I love them. You were speaking about Sophia before and now Audrey, and I feel like you both are joking.
No. Tell us about your ambition. Your ambition. I mean, what do you want from this profession you have chosen?
I want to keep feeling scared every time I start a movie. That's the way I feel. Like when we had the first day, the night before we shot Volver, I was crying in my bedroom. I felt like I was 8 years old again. And I love that feeling. And I feel that's what has me so addicted to acting, that I know the day that I'm 80, I can keep working. Fortunately, we'll have a lot of directors like Pedro that write for characters for women of all ages. And I will still feel this fear, you know, and I will always remember that you can always keep learning. As an actor, you never reach a place where you feel you know everything. That never happens. And that gives me real happiness. That's the part about the work that feels very real, that has nothing to do with the ego or fame or any of the other things that come with it, you know, that can last forever.
Part of the fame is everybody's fascinated by your private life. Does it
Very
bother?
much.
It doesn't really
Affect
bother me, no, because I don't read those magazines. I try not to put attention in. I definitely don't watch those shows, like so many that we have in Spain. Yeah. And I don't talk about my private life. I've never done that. I had that intuition when I started working when I was a kid. I was 15, and I've never changed that rule. And I would never. I get very protective of my family. You know, like I don't want taking pictures of my family. I know if one day I have a kid, I will be very
protective of your kid.
Very, 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 very protective. Yeah. But it doesn't really.
Is that something you want very much? Having a kid?
Someday I will, for sure, because I love them.
Yeah.
So
Your parents are in Spain?
Yes, they are
Madrid,
both in Spain.
In both in Madrid?
Yes,
or? Oh,
in Madrid.
Terrific. And do they give you feedback about do they watch the movies all?
Yes, they always come with us to the premieres, and yes, of course.